Welcome back to another episode of Seven Figure Music School. I'm Nate. This is Daniel, and we have an exciting episode. To some, it might feel like a shiny object episode, but it isn't to Daniel and I. AI is a real thing. It's here to stay. It's going to impact how we run our music schools. We've already started playing with it at Brooklyn Music Factory, but Daniel has been in a deep dive for the last year. And so he's going to really lead this app, and I hope that it'll be inspiring for all of our listeners to just start thinking a little bit different about how AI can help their school. Daniel, thanks for sharing all your insights.
Yes, and I want to say right off the bat that I don't think anyone listening to this episode thinks that AI is going anywhere, and no one is under the illusion that it isn't important. It's been in the news. We've talked about it before in the podcast, even a couple episodes ago when we were talking about the state of search engine marketing, the very first episode back in 2025.
Right.
Right at the very end, I kind of went on a little rant about AI and how it was affecting search engine results. And it was really in that rant that I thought, you know what, we should do an update because, and I will say this, 2 years ago when ChatGPT was released by OpenAI in November of 2022, yes. The day that it was released, there's a technologist that I follow on Twitter, and they were just going nuts about it. And so the day after right on Thanksgiving, or the day after Thanksgiving, somewhere right around there, like within a couple days of release, I downloaded it, I was playing with it, and all throughout the month of December of 2022, I was kind of treating it as this toy, as like this novelty. But then all of the people that I follow, some real movers and shakers in technology and culture and that sort of thing, started releasing videos on how this is a game changer. And when these people who are not really influenced by passing fads, when these people who I really respect as deep thinkers and people to really pay attention to were saying, this is important, and then started releasing videos as to why, it really changed my mentality. And in January of 2023, we did a webinar about AI. I put that webinar in our free community, the Studio Master community. You can check this, the show notes. That webinar is still very, very relevant today. And we quietly began implementing AI into the workflows around Grow Your Music Studio, Piano Express, Seven Figure Music School, this podcast. I'm going to get very, very deep into some of the developments that have happened because I haven't really talked about it in the last year, but it has completely transformed how we are doing business around here to the point that we lost a key team member nearly a year ago. And that key team member had been working on some special projects for Piano Express. And I'd kind of taken her off of the normal running of things around here. And we'd kind of given it to some of those things to basically the person who's third in line around here, Bethany. And when that person left over the next month, I was scrambling like, oh man, we're now down a full-time person. We need to replace them. And what we discovered over the next few months was AI had so completely permeated our culture around here that we didn't even need to replace this person. We spread it out among other team members, gave a few more hours this person here, a few more hours this person here, but we effectively, through AI, lost a very high-level team member, and our productivity went up, but we didn't have to replace them. Some of the higher level jobs went to another person, but some of the lower level jobs a lot of people were doing around here were just sucked up by AI, and we didn't need to hire new people. I'm not sounding the most eloquent here, but this is this is just the state of how things are. And what I want to do in this episode is get into all of the things that we have been using AI for that people here could use in their music studio or in their music school. And this is certainly not going to be an exhaustive list, but it's some of the most exciting things we're doing, some of the most time-saving things we're doing, some of the most money-saving things that we're doing. And I hope it will be an inspiration for you. And what I will say is that by the end of the episode, if you view this as, oh, this is another thing I've got to learn. Oh, this is something else on my to-do list. Oh, this is another thing on my plate. Let me just say this right now. This actually should be very, very high on your list of priorities, because for those of you for whom time is a premium, or you never feel like there's enough time to get things done, or you just like to make your team members more efficient, you will get a lot of value from this episode. And I'm going to show you ways at the end of the episode, once we kind of get through the list of all the things that we're doing, I'm going to show you how you can begin to integrate this into your life so that it just becomes a tool that you use, and it just becomes a natural part of your life's rhythm, because that's what's happened to me and some of my team members around here.
Yeah, I love it.
AI has become an extension of our brain. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say before, I want to jump straight in to some of the different methods and tools that you're using them at Grow. And really what I'll do, Daniel, over the course of the app is just chime in from Brooklyn Music Factory to share real world examples of how a music school is using it now. So that'll be my role. I might share a couple personal for someone who has ADHD. AI is honestly one of the greatest tools that's come along for someone like me. And I'm going to share real concrete ways that I use it to help me stay focused and to maintain attention and to avoid distraction, which is, for those of our listeners that have some ADD or whatever, that, distraction is one of our biggest hindrances. It's a huge hurdle. So, Daniel, looking to become more productive, looking to be more efficient, hopefully save money, etc. Let's just start by talking about ways that people can get started right away. Like, what can people do right now with AI? And maybe we'll just dive in there to help people start taking notes and making lists of things that they might want to research when they get done with the pod. Where do you want to start with that?
I do want to say one quick thing to set all of this up. Why am I talking about this now? I referenced this briefly in the comments I made a few minutes ago, but there was something that kind of propelled AI back into the realm of something I was very excited about. It happened last August, and that is when OpenAI released their O1 model. And when they did, I actually started talking to folks about this, people in our coaching program, in our accelerator program. And I got very, very excited because this was a quantum leap forward. There were things that I was trying to get AI to do for me prior to August of last year that it just didn't do very well. And when the O1 model released, these same technologists that I follow, these same movers and shakers in business that I really respect, they were gushing over this new model. Artificial intelligence got way more intelligent when OpenAI released this model. And so I went back and I tried to get it to do some of these things that I've been trying to get it to do for a year and a half, and it could do it now. And I'm going to talk about what some of those things are, but just understand that it is getting smarter and smarter. It is getting more and more capable as time goes by, as time passes. And some of the things I'm even going to talk about and some of the techniques I'm going to recommend that you start doing, or some of the tools I'm going to recommend that you start using, they weren't even possible 6 months ago. And
it's moving so fast.
Yeah, it's just transformed the way I'm working.
Yeah, and I really I can't stress how important it is for us as founders to listen to our gut. And my gut has been telling me probably for about this, not as long as you, Daniel, but certainly for the last 8 to 10 months, I've been like, wait, Nate, I need to spend more time in learning about the opportunity here, and then small ways that I can start using it to make our organization, our company, our music school more efficient. So yeah, and if that gut is hitting you, if you find yourself super interested and it doesn't feel shiny object, i.e. it's not just yet another opportunity you're going to spend about 2 hours with and then forget about the next week, certainly you need to follow it. And AI to me is totally in that category. So,
and that's
it's moving quickly.
Yeah, and that's where, towards the end of the episode, I want to get into integration. So it isn't what you just said there, Nate, where it's not, I'm going to play around with it for a couple hours. Oh, what a cool shiny object. Oh, what a cool toy. Yes. And then then you lose it loses purpose for you. And honestly, I think when we finish this list, I have been building up since the beginning of the episode. I think there's going to be something in there, or maybe several things in there that you're like, whoa, I got to do that. Okay, so
Totally.
Let's get to it. First thing, I'm going to recommend everyone right now, and this is towards that integration, that you download the ChatGPT app on your phone and you put it in the dock at the bottom of your phone. And you either create a free account or spend $20 a month and get a pro account, which will give you so much more functionality and give you a lot of things that some of the things I'm going to recommend here, you're not going to be able to do unless you're paying the monthly fee, which to me is insane. We replaced a high level employee, not with AI totally, like I'm not going to get back into that, but $20 a month to basically have the world's most intelligent employee to work for you. If you're even hesitating on that, I don't even know what to tell you. Anyway, the point is, download it, put it in the dock on your phone, and what I'm going to tell you to do, the very first technique, replace Google search with ChatGPT.
Or at least put them side by side. If you're not comfortable with you're saying go all in.
Replace Google search, yes. And I'm gonna explain more why during this. It's going to become more and more evident as I talk about some of the things here, but I don't really use Google search anymore. I go straight to ChatGPT because if I ask a question to Google search, often what happens is I have to sift through a number of articles that and figure out which thing, figure out which search return is going to give me the best information. And the more complex the search, actually, the more I would recommend you use ChatGPT. So, for instance, if I'm looking for like the address of a restaurant, I'm probably not going to use ChatGPT. I'm going to go to Google search. But if I'm asking a very complex or complicated business question or something about, a health or medical thing or something like that, I'm probably going to go to ChatGPT, and then I'm going to talk to it like it was a doctor. I'm going to talk to it like it was a business coach. I'm going to talk to it as if it were an advisor. I'm going to actually have a conversation with it, because when I see what it aggregates for me, I'm going to see how it's misunderstanding my question, and I'm going to say, no, that isn't exactly what I meant. And its return for me is going to prompt an actual conversation, which is what this is a conversational AI. You're supposed to talk to it like it's a person. So talk to it like it's a person. I wish that we could go into my personal and show exactly how I'm talking to it. But a lot of this, I just don't feel comfortable showing the entirety of my life, because this has kind of become an extension of my brain.
Okay, hold on.
And I'm asking everything from medical issue problems to So go ahead, Nate.
I just put ChatGPT on my home screen. Okay, I'm telling the listeners that happened in real time. And my commitment to you, Daniel, is that I'm going to test out your idea for 1 week. I'm not going to go to Chrome, which is my go-to for search.
Yeah.
I'm going to search on ChatGPT. And I am already using it in ways that we've discussed privately, and we'll talk more here. But I think that's awesome. Can I say one thing about your $20 comment if you're not going to invest in that? There's two things, actually, I'm going to say. Number one, you 100% need to get on our waiting list for the next Founders Forum, because it means if you're not willing to invest $20 into really the future and some sort of high-level thought partner in your company, it means you still think you can solve everything on your own. And that's precisely what we do at the Forum, is try to get a community of growth-minded music school owners, founders together, so that they start learning from one another. It's like this amazing communal, learning center. And then number two is $20. What you're doing is think of it as like microtherapy every month. You're just investing in yourself to start thinking differently about the world around you. And so if Daniel's like, just pony up the $20 and put it on your home screen and start asking it questions you normally would type into Chrome and lose interest quickly, then just think of it as like a little mini micro coaching session with a bot.
And again, some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about here, some of the advanced things that I've done with it, you will more than get your money's worth every single month. Also, if you want to get on the waiting list for the forum, just go to grow-your-music-studio.com/forum, and you can sign up for the wait list right there. We'll let you know when we open it again. Okay, second thing. This is much, much shorter. This is, by the way, my list here is in no particular order. I did put a few things together that were kind of closely related, but I'm just planning on giving tips and tricks here, hacks and tools, like that sort of thing. So the next thing, go to the Chrome Web Store and download on your browser the YouTube Transcript AI Summary web app. And it'll get right up there in your Chrome browser. And the next time you shut your Chrome browser down, and the next time you go to YouTube, maybe to watch an Alex Hormozy video or watch a video on how to make Facebook ads work for you in 2025, like anything, you will see in your Chrome browser right underneath the video, the extension actually puts it right on your right underneath the video, and you can click the little gear button and you can download a transcript of the entire video. And then you take that transcript, copy and paste it to ChatGPT and say, hey, make a summary of this video for me, write out all the major points, the biggest takeaways, and create an action checklist for me. This is just a prompt you can write in there, and it will give you this. And again, only if you've got the more, if you're paying for it, because more than likely, if this is a longer video, it won't handle all the text. When you're paying the $20 a month, you can put a lot more text into the chat. Literally, I educated myself on a particular software that we're using in a fraction of the time, because I just went and got the 5 most liked or most popular, most relevant videos on YouTube. I pulled the transcripts. I dumped them all in a new thread. I told it to make a master summary for me based on all of those action items, common pitfalls, things to avoid, what I need to do. And then based on all of that, as I actually then went to use the software, I went back to that thread and asked specific questions, and then also told ChatGPT to refer to the transcripts plus search the web to see if there were answers to how to solve this particular problem. Okay, next. For many, many years, I have coached either one-on-one or in a group setting. I have coached music school owners one-on-one or in a group setting. And sometimes, especially for my private one-on-one clients, they will send me questions. And in the past, I have got on Vidyard. I've been a Vidyard super user. I once got an email from Vidyard, which is essentially like Loom, saying that I was in the top 0.1% of users of the software. And what I would do is I would get on a Vidyard and I would answer their question on video, just like this, and then I would send it to them. But here's the thing. They can't download the video. They can't capture the video. They can't, and to get that information from me, they have to watch maybe a 5, 10, 15-minute video from me. Here's what I've been doing with AI. I created a prompt that basically gave it specific instructions about my writing style, how I talk, and the style that I wanted it to be written in. And then what I'll do is, instead of making a video, I make an audio recording, and the prompt is up at the top, and then the transcript from the audio recording is right underneath it, and I can talk right into the app on my phone. And I might talk for 8 minutes, and it does a perfect transcript, and then the prompt then turns it into a written email. Now, people can read 2 to 3 times faster than they can listen to a video. And the prompt makes it so that it's very easy to read. It cuts out my verbal clutter. It will tighten up a concept. Like if I'm struggling to get a concept out and I'm kind of talking in circles a little bit, it will cut all of that out based on this prompt that I made. And the beauty of it is that someone can read through that. Now, here's the other thing. Why wouldn't I just type all that out then? Well, because for me to type out a 1,000-word email, I would probably take 30 to 40 minutes to write that. But for me to say 1,000 words, I can probably do that in about 5 minutes. And so I'm actually helping my clients and helping myself, and it's efficient. Now, how can a music school owner use this? You could use this in writing out instructions for a team member, replying to a client, replying to a vendor, replying to an email from a team member or a director. So there's a lot of ways that you can use something like this. And I literally just have this thread. It's called the text cleanup thread. And so I'll just go to text cleanup inside my GPT because it saves my old threads and it remembers the instructions. And I'll literally just write, "Hey, I've got another transcript for you to clean up." That's literally what I say, and it remembers the instructions from before. And then I just talk into my phone. I hit send, and it comes back 30 seconds later, and I just literally copy and paste it into an email and send it.
Before we started recording this, we basically had a people power emergency. Well, what we do is we take that entire meeting and I just, like you said, ask them to summarize all the action steps by person following the meeting, and it spits it out in action-oriented steps. And I take that and I cut and paste it into our project in the Slack channel. And now all of a sudden we've got a mini project and we're action-oriented. Whereas normally, to be totally honest, Daniel, what might have happened a year ago is I would have had a bunch of notes in my Evernote, which I dig. I'm taking notes, but it would have taken me like a day, 2, maybe 3 days to actually clean it up, get it organized, and then share it with people in a helpful way. Another way to think about that as a founder of a music school is, where are you most valuable? Right? Like Ben uses AI to summarize all of his one-on-one check-ins with every teacher and share them with his teachers after each monthly check-in, right? He is most valuable, like you, Daniel, in sharing your experiential knowledge, not in summarizing notes and trying to organize all the data and remember to send it. You know what I mean? So I think it's a way to remember that we are, we're put on this planet to be of benefit to others. Okay. That's our 30,000 or 50,000 foot view on the world. So how can we be of most benefit, and how do these tools that you're describing, Daniel, allow us to stay in a space of being of benefit rather than caught in the weeds of trying to stay organized and send useful information? It doesn't do any good, dude, if you have this great thought, this great coaching idea, and you send a video to a client and the client never watches it. You know what I mean? Because they're like, it's a 20-minute video. I can't get back to that. So you're just basically saying, I want to make sure that you get some benefit out of this, which is the same reason Ben sends the notes from his one-on-one check-in in a summary, which is the same reason I'm using the tools more and more, because it actually helps me follow through with summarizing and being of benefit to those people that are in the meeting. So love it. Okay, what's next there, Daniel? You got a mega list.
I'm just going to go ahead and jump in with 2 thoughts. All of our team is distributed. So almost every meeting is on Zoom, and I have Zoom sending, and I don't think this is going to come as a shock to anyone, because a lot of people are doing this, at least the people who hang out with me, my clients. A lot of people are having these AI note takers come to a meeting so the meeting can be summarized and that sort of thing. And I am just being very, very conscious in meetings to say certain words and phrases now, so that the AI has an easier time of recognizing certain things. So before, in a meeting, let's say the Piano Express team meeting that we have every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, right, we might have talked about different things that team members need to do. Now in the meeting, I will explicitly say, okay, so then what it sounds like is that Greg is going to do, and then I say it very clearly, I summarize it, or Bethany is going to do, and then what I can do later is then take the AI transcript and say, hey, look for every time we specifically said someone needs to do something, and I need all that written out for me in a prompt. And then we will just dump it in the team Slack so everyone's accountable. Also, and you said this too, it's almost like we complained for years about having to meet on Zoom. Now meeting on Zoom is really, really good because we can have the AI there with us. But you can just put Otter on your phone and hit record and put it right in between you and a person, and you can have the same thing working for you in a real life conversation, and then you can get the same output later. So if something is important enough that you will have a meeting about it, you probably should have an AI there listening to you so that you can get full value out of the meeting, because we lose 90% of what is said. What's the stat, Nate? Like 20 or 30 minutes after a meeting's over, we forget what was said. Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's 20 minutes. I would say because we're booking ourselves back to back. You're going
Yeah.
straight into teaching.
All right. Next, this one is from my ops manager, Bethany. So Bethany got tired of me missing my deadlines for writing email copy for the podcast. So,
Nice.
so we trained our AI to write like me. It can't be original, but the tone and the style is the same. And what she found was that if she gave me a prompt, if she gave me an example of what it could be, that it was way easier for me than just sitting there looking at a blank screen and being like, okay, write something, right? Because look, sometimes we record these podcasts 2 months in advance. And so then she comes to me once it gets edited, maybe a month later, and she's like, hey, I need email copy for you. Like, I don't even remember what I said. I don't remember what I said in a meeting 2 hours ago, let alone a podcast a month ago. So she created this prompt and had an example email written for me. And a lot of times I read the example email. Sometimes I keep some of what's in there, but then I'm like, oh, the unique angle of this episode was this. And the AI really, it's not a great creative writer. It doesn't come up with like really creative and original thoughts. So I will often erase part of it, put in something that's unique and creative and original to me, but leave some of the stuff that's in there that it came up with. And it's kind of a hybrid between the two. And I stopped avoiding that task because it felt so creative and heavy to me. And it was such a shift and I couldn't remember. And I started getting things to her a lot faster. And it didn't take me nearly as much time to edit something that was pretty much 80% good. Editing something that was 80% good is a lot easier than starting from zero. And so what I will say for any founder who still is responsible somewhat for their marketing or writing in their business, you can train it to write like you, and you can create these prompts and give it something. Like, for instance, let's say you do have a meeting and you need to write an email to the staff about something that was said in the meeting. You can go to the transcript, pull the appropriate part, dump it in AI and say, hey, write a memo to the staff based on this right here. And it'll write just like you, save you 10, 15 minutes.
I literally just did this with a team member who's sitting at the desk, and we were talking about it. So let's say you're very confident in the voice of your website. So you've got great landing pages. You're very confident in the copy there. And you want to write, for example, we were writing a whole series on why it's time to enroll in summer camp now and, in February or whatever. And so basically you can just ask it to use copy from specific landing pages, website URLs, and then give it directives. And so it'll grab the language from that you're already using on your site. It will couple it with the outcome that you want. For example, a marketing email that gives you three features and 3 benefits about why it's important to enroll in camp now, and don't wait until May. And it'll give you something that at least is a really good starting point for your voice. And you can then take that copy, like you said, Daniel, it's so wise. It's way easier to move from something than it is to start with nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So think of it as the thing to just get you launched. But that's another tip. So we use that all the time now. And what were you going to say?
Well, let me go. I want to affirm everything you said, and let me go a level deeper. Let me get to the psychological level. For me, the hardest part of running 2 companies, having so many team members to work with, and I mean, everyone is amazing. I work with the most amazing people. It is very rare that there is trouble in the team or the staff around here. And if there is, it's usually my fault. It's something that I've done that's causing a problem or a way that I've failed in my leadership. The hardest part of running this is the rapid task switching. The energy that it takes to do this thing, then that thing, then this thing, then that thing, And so for me, yes, the time savings is cool, but it's actually when I said the AI has almost become an extension of my brain, it allows me to think less. I just want to sit on that statement or just relax on that statement for a second. It allows me to think less. It requires me to have, it allows me to have fewer opinions. it allows me to utilize my energy and my creativity for the most important tasks. Because yes, it's important that the podcast email copy gets written. And this brand largely has been built on my voice. And the AI has given me an extension of myself that allows me to retain that at a fraction of the cost to hire a high level copywriter. And it's good enough. And in fact, there are some things that I've written in the last 6 months that I've run it past some clients, and only one client even, she's really bright. And if she's listening to this, I know she knows who I'm talking about. She said, yeah, I could tell that was AI, but no one else could. So Nate, here's what I'm going to suggest we do. I think this is a 2-part episode. I wasn't sure coming in if it was or not, but I think I have covered kind of the beginner and intermediate stuff that I was going to talk about. Let's release another episode in the near future, and let's get into the advanced stuff there. And when we do that episode, we can just refer back to this one. So I say we call the podcast right here, and we release a second episode where I get into some of the more advanced techniques. What do you think?
I think that's cool. Let's draw a line let's at least mark the Evernote now so that we know what we've covered, and then be like, advanced.
Right.
Or something.
Right.
Yeah, because cool. I think it's a great idea. I mean, the truth is that we're just scratching the surface.
Really, for sure.
You know?
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will release another episode very, very soon. We're going to get into some of these more advanced techniques, and I'm going to get more into integration. Although that tip that I gave at the beginning about just putting GPT on your phone in the dock at the bottom so you always see it and just starting to use it that way. And if you have a thought, just start talking to it and start asking it questions. It's one of the best things you can do. It's how you get it integrated in your life. And it's literally, I've not taken a course on AI. I did watch a bunch of YouTube videos about it. I did do a deep dive into it one time, like at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. And then just over time, I've learned how to use it more effectively, just using it, just doing things with it. So that is my biggest integrative tip for you for right now. And then we'll get more into it in the next time that we have an episode on AI, which will be in the very near future. Okay. See y'all in the next one.
Yep. See you soon.